the stories, the rituals, the secrets from these spiritual figures right here are important, super important. And I think a lot of times, man, a lot of people don't treat it that way. This video here is the mysterious monks found in the Himalayas, and they've been living there since the Ice Age. Let's listen to some of the history and the backgrounds and tell me what you think.
The CT scan revealed the remains of a mummified monk sitting in the same position as the external statue.
Just as every culture holds its religion dear and follows unique prayers, monks also dedicate their lives to spiritual practice. These monks are deeply committed to their faith, immersing themselves in meditation and rituals. Their devotion is a profound expression of their beliefs, and they play a crucial role in preserving and passing on their spiritual traditions. Through their disciplined practices, they seek to connect with higher truths and guide others on their spiritual journeys. In this video, let's have a detailed look at some of the world's most mysterious and oldest known monks. Number 1. Unbelievable monk living under snow. In Mount Kailash, Himalayas. In Mount Kailash, there lived a fantastic monk living high in the Himalayas, about 4,000 meters above sea level. He lived in a snow-covered cave, and each day he climbed out, took a bath, and drank water from icicles. This monk has developed incredible abilities, surviving without food and enduring freezing temperatures, which seem impossible to most people. Monks like him are deeply connected to their spiritual practice and use powerful techniques to go beyond the physical body. One method is the continuous chanting of sacred mantras. Like and subscribe right now and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week, which helps them stay focused. Another method is called unclutching, where they release tension from their body and mind, allowing them to be at peace. Some also rely on deep, intense prayer, which puts them in constant connection with the divine. This monk's goal isn't to show off, but to fully immerse himself in the divine presence of Shiva. Through these powerful spiritual techniques, it's possible to achieve amazing feats like this. Number 2. 109-year-old Thai Buddhist monk Luang Pho Yai. Luang Pho Yai, a well-loved Thai Buddhist monk, passed away on March 22nd. Known from TikTok videos with his granddaughter and great-granddaughter, his kind nature and frail look made him famous online. Some videos led to wild rumors, like him being 163 years old or a 399-year-old woman, and even claims about him practicing Japanese self-mummification. Fact-checkers debunked these myths. After his death, his granddaughter shared videos of his memorial and cremation. She explained that he was actually 109 years old, not 399, and that the videos had been taken without her permission. Despite criticism, many online comments praised him and offered support. Number 4. 200-year-old Buddhist monk is still meditating. A mummified monk found in Mongolia may not actually be dead, but might be in a deep meditative state, according to a Buddhist monk. The 200-year-old body was discovered wrapped in animal hide in Ulaanbaatar. Forensic tests are being conducted, and experts believe the monk might have been a Lama, a Tibetan Buddhism teacher. The monk was found sitting in a lotus position, with his left hand open and his right hand holding a symbolic preaching gesture.
Now, some of y'all may take this the wrong way, looking at this person and say, oh, it may deter you and make you apprehensive about looking at and that. But not for me, bro. Because I think I admire the most about monks and things, man, is their discipline and commitment. Like, I strive to have that type of discipline in my life, structure and commitment in my life, bro. To be able to, whatever it is that I want to do, commit. And I'm great at certain things of commitment, but I just want to be better. And that level of commitment there is where I strive to be in my life, man, when it comes to whatever, man, work, finance, everything, every aspect. I want to have that type of discipline and commitment, bro. It's so inspiring.
This position suggests he might be in a particular meditative state called Tukdam, which is a state of deep meditation after death. There's speculation that this monk could be linked to Lama Dashi Dorjo Itigilov from Buryatia. Itigilov, who died in 1927 while meditating, was later exhumed and found remarkably well preserved. The same might be true for this newly discovered monk, possibly due to natural preservation methods or a unique embalming process. Number 5. Mummified monk found inside 1,000-year-old Buddha statue. A nearly 1,000-year-old Chinese Buddha statue was recently discovered to contain the mummified remains of a monk. The statue, which was on display at the Drents Museum in the Netherlands, hid the mummy of Liu Quan, a Buddhist master from around the year 1100. This is the first time a Chinese Buddhist mummy has been studied in the West. The Buddha statue, decorated in gold-painted papier-mâché, was part of a mummy exhibition featuring 60 mummies from around the world. The mummy was found in 1996 during the statue's restoration in the Netherlands. Researchers used advanced medical technology to study the mummy and conducted deoxyribonucleic acid tests on the bone samples. The findings will be published in a future report. The practice of self-mummification, which involved extreme meditation, fasting, dehydration, and poisoning, was meant to achieve spiritual enlightenment. It was common in Buddhist traditions in China and Japan, but was banned in the 19th century. Number 6. Floating Buddhist monk woman, Thailand. Thailand, Kanchanaburi revealed a remarkable spectacle at a famous temple. Women who could levitate. Women use their meditation skills to float in water, a display intended to showcase their spiritual achievements. Such demonstrations, however, made everyone understand. Floating in water seemed disconnected from the more profound principles of meditation and enlightenment. This curiosity led to the discovery that visitors could pay to watch these floating feats, with extra charges for filming. The fascination with levitation reminded me of an old Buddhist story. In ancient times, a wealthy merchant offered a prized sandalwood bowl to any monk who could retrieve it from a high pole. Pindola Bharadvaja, a revered monk with spiritual powers, floated up, took the bowl, and flew around town. Though the crowd was amazed, Buddha criticized Pindola for showcasing his abilities. Buddha deemed it inappropriate for a true monk to display such powers for material gain, likening it to a performer seeking attention. Number 7. Monk climbs up steep mountain without a safety harness. An old video of a monk climbing a steep mountain has gone viral again, leaving everyone amazed. What's so shocking? The monk climbs without a harness or any safety gear, effortlessly making his way up. The view shows the monk quickly scaling the mountain, while a woman who's climbing with proper safety gear struggles. The monk, barefoot and dressed in his simple saffron robes, moves swiftly up the mountain without any equipment, making the whole thing seem almost effortless. The contrast between his skill and the woman's careful, slow progress with harnesses makes the monk's climb even more incredible. The internet is in awe of his fearless, graceful ascent. Number 8. Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Tenzin Zopa Rinpoche, also known as Lama Zopa Rinpoche, was a respected Tibetan Buddhist teacher. Born Dawa Chotar on December 3, 1945, in Thangmei, Nepal, he was recognized early on as the reincarnation of a revered Lama. At just 10 years old, he went to Tibet to study and meditate at a monastery. After fleeing Tibet in 1959, due to the Chinese occupation, he lived in Bhutan, and later in a Tibetan refugee camp in India. There, he met Lama Yeshe, who became his close mentor. In the 1970s, Lama Zopa and Lama Yeshe founded Kopan Monastery and the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition, which offers various charitable and educational programs. They also set up the Tushita Meditation Center in India. Lama Zopa continued his work as the spiritual director of the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition after Lama Yeshe passed away in 1984. Sadly, on April 13th, 2023, he died.
Okay, so they say he passed away. Because I was trying to figure out, was Was he meditating, asleep, or had he passed away in this position right here? I couldn't tell. That just goes to show you how good he is and they are at what they do, man. I couldn't even tell with this picture at all of those different angles. I was like, okay, it doesn't look like he's alive, but I can't really get a good beat on it.
Died from altitude sickness at the age of 76. He had been in the Tsum Valley, but had to be rushed back to Kathmandu, where he passed away despite efforts to revive him. Number 9. Garchen Rinpoche. The 8th Garchen Rinpoche, also known as Garchen Triptrul Rinpoche, was a revered Tibetan Buddhist teacher born in April 1936 in Nangchen Kham. He is believed to be a reincarnation of Siddha Gar Chodingpa, a key disciple of Jigten Sumgon, the founder of the Drikung Kagyu lineage. Some even say he was also the reincarnation of the Mahasiddha Aryadeva from ancient India. At 7 years old, he was taken to Lo Mial Monastery and given the name Kunchok Gyaltsen. There, he was recognized by Drikung Kyabgon Jiwe Lodro and taught by high lamas, including Siddha Chimedorji. At 19, he began a 3-year meditation retreat, but it was cut short by the Cultural Revolution in China. When he was 22, Garchen Rinpoche was imprisoned by the Chinese and spent 20 years in a labor camp. During this time, he met Khenpo Munsel, a Nyingma master who became his root guru. Despite the harsh conditions, Garchen Rinpoche practiced secretly and gained deep wisdom. Released in 1979, he dedicated himself to rebuilding Drikung Kagyu monasteries, restoring Buddhist teachings, and setting up schools in eastern Tibet. He began teaching in North America in 1997, sharing the profound teachings of his lineage. His life is a testament to his unwavering dedication to his faith and people. Number 10. Geshe Tenzin Zopa. Geshe Tenzin Zopa, born in 1975 in the Tsum Valley of Nepal, is a highly respected Tibetan Buddhist teacher. The revered Geshe Lama Konchog ordained him at just 9 years old at Kopan Monastery. His early training was intensive. He learned the Tibetan alphabet as a toddler and was immersed in Buddhist teachings and rituals from a young age. Zopa's journey was remarkable. Despite initial resistance from his father, who wanted him to lead an everyday life, Zopa became a devoted disciple of Konchog. He accompanied his master on travels, served as his English translator, and studied diligently at Serajé Monastic University. There he excelled, becoming one of the top students. In 2007, Zopa achieved the prestigious Geshe degree, a title akin to a Doctor of Philosophy in Tibetan Buddhism. He is known for his deep knowledge and teaching skills, having taught at various foundations for the preservation of the Mahayana tradition centers, and even at Oxford University. Today, he continues to contribute significantly to Tibetan Buddhism, overseeing the well-being of his teacher's reincarnation and participating in essential dialogues and conferences. Number 11.
Bro, they said he'd been doing it since he was 9. I can't even, like 9 years old, I couldn't even think back to, and I sat here and tried, like what I was doing other than running outside and playing at 9 years old. And here he was, already had life somewhat figured out, or at least knew what he wanted to do with his life at 9 years old. It's like, wow, like that's different. You know what I mean?
Lama Thubten Yeshe. Lama Thubten Yeshe, 1935-1984, was a Tibetan monk who had a major impact on spreading Buddhism to the West. Born in Tibet, he attended Sera Monastery at the age of 6. After the Chinese invasion in 1959, he fled to India, where he met Thubten Zopa Rinpoche, who became his close collaborator. In the 1960s, Lama Yeshe and Zopa Rinpoche moved to Nepal and started Kopan Monastery to teach Westerners about Buddhism. They later opened the Tushita Meditation Center in India to meet the growing interest of Western students. Lama Yeshe's unconventional teaching style faced some criticism, but he continued to share his knowledge widely. By 1974, he was traveling the world, helping to establish the foundation for the preservation of the Mahayana tradition, FPMT. He passed away in 1984, but was reborn as Ocel Hita Torres in Spain in 1985, recognized by the Dalai Lama as his new incarnation. Number 12. Hemis Monastery Monks. Hemis Monastery is a stunning Buddhist monastery located in Ladakh, India, along the Indus River. Founded in 1672 by King Sengye Namgyal, it's known for its annual Hemis festival, which celebrates Padmasambhava every June. Before it was re-established, Hemis Monastery existed long before the 11th century. In 1894, a Russian journalist named Nicholas Notovich claimed to have discovered a mysterious gospel there, suggesting Jesus traveled to India during his lost years. However, many historians believe Notovich made up the story. Despite this, Hemis remains a significant center in Ladakh, housing over 1,000 monks and more than 200 branches. It's famous for its wealth, including a copper Buddha statue, golden and silver stupas, and sacred thangkas. Founded by Tsangpa Gyare Yeshe Dorje in the 13th century and revived in the 17th century, Hemis is a crucial site of the Drukpa lineage of Mahayana Buddhism. Number 13. Shaolin Monks. Shaolin Kung Fu, also known as Shaolin Wushu or Shaolin Quan, is the most famous style of Kung Fu. It blends Zen philosophy with martial arts and was developed over 1,500 years ago at the Shaolin Temple in Henan, China. The saying, Shaolin Kung Fu is the best under heaven, highlights its top status in martial arts. While all martial arts under heaven originated from Shaolin, underscores its influence. The Shaolin Temple was founded in 495 Anno Domini by Emperor Xiaowendi and became a major center for Buddhism. Legend says an Indian monk named Bodhidharma introduced martial arts to the temple to enhance meditation, leading to the creation of Shaolin Kung Fu. The temple, located on Mount Song, has beautiful historical buildings.
Man, I wanted to be a ninja so bad when I was a kid. I know that's probably weird to hear coming from me, but bro, I wanted to be a ninja so bad. That's all I wanted to be. Like, I think in life, at a young age, that's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Halloween all the time, practice it, go study it. I watched all karate movies. I think that's where it came from. Like, me and my dad watching karate movies, all the Bruce Lee movies, all those type of movies growing up, man. I wanted to be a ninja and study and learn some form of Japanese, either it was Jeet Kune Do from Bruce Lee or something in that form of fashion. Bro, and just seeing this just drums up all those memories.
And the pagoda forest has over 200 pagodas. It's a United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organization World Heritage Site renowned for its historical and architectural significance. Number 14. Sera Monastery Monks. Sera Monastery, one of the three main Gelug monasteries in Tibet, is located just north of Lhasa. Its name comes from the wild roses that once bloomed on the nearby hill during its construction in 1419 by Jamchen Choje, a disciple of Je Tsongkhapa. The monastery initially had 19 hermitages and 4 nunneries, but suffered massive damage in 1959 during the Lhasa Revolt. Many monks were killed, and the monastery's colleges were destroyed. After fleeing to India, surviving monks rebuilt the monastery in Bilakupa, Mysore, with the help of the Indian government. The new Sera Monastery, with Sera Mi and Sera J colleges, now houses over 3,000 monks, open to anyone aged 7 or older. Regardless of background, Sera Monastery has become a growing center for Buddhist teaching. Hundreds of new monks join every year, including many from Tibet and other parts of the world, continuing the monastery's legacy of spreading Buddhist knowledge globally. Number 15. Drepung Monastery Monks. Drepung Monastery, also known as the Rice Heap Monastery, is one of Tibet's 3 great Gelug University monasteries, along with Ganden and Sera. Located at the base of Mount Gefel, just 5 kilometers from Lhasa, It was once the largest monastery in the world. In the 1930s, it housed over 7,700 monks, and sometimes as many as 10,000. Drepung is famous for its deep study and practice of Tibetan Buddhism, even earning the nickname the Second Nalanda University, a reference to the great Indian center of learning. However, since the 1950s, the monastery has lost much of its spiritual independence, as Chinese authorities closely monitor it. In response, Drepung Monastery, along with Ganden and Sera, was re-established in Karnataka, India, after many monks fled Tibet. Today, Drepung Gomang Monastic University remains a respected center for Tibetan Buddhist learning and practice, continuing the monastery's ancient traditions in exile. Number 16. Drikung Kyabgon Chetsang. Drikung Kyabgon Chetsang, born Konchog Tenzin Kunzang, Trinlilundrup in 1946, came from the Tsarong family, an influential and noble family in Lhasa. His birth, on the day of Buddha's first teaching, was marked by unique signs. His grandfather, Dasang Damdul Tsarong, was close to the 13th Dalai Lama and held high positions in Tibet. His father, Dundul Namgyal Tsarong, also served the Tibetan government and later worked in exile with the Dalai Lama. After the previous Drikung Kyabgon's passing, searches began for his reincarnation. In 1950, Konchog was recognized as the new Drikung Kyabgon, based on visions and signs. He passed many tests, identifying items from his past life. Several respected Tibetan leaders confirmed his reincarnation. He was officially enthroned in Drikung Til Monastery, but soon after, the Chinese invaded Tibet. He and his family briefly stayed in India for safety. Back in Tibet, he continued his education in various monasteries, learning spiritual teachings, astrology, and more from his instructors. Number 17. Dalai Lama. The title Dalai Lama was given in 1578 by Altan Khan, a Mongol ruler, to the spiritual leader of the Gelug school of Tibetan Buddhism. The term combines the Mongolic word Dalai, meaning ocean, and the Tibetan word Lama, meaning master or teacher. Dalai Lamas are believed to be reincarnations of Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. Since the 5th Dalai Lama in the 17th century, the Dalai Lama has represented unity for Tibet. The current Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, is the 14th and lives in exile in India. Throughout history, Dalai Lamas were not only religious leaders, but also headed the Tibetan government from 1642 to the 1950s. Mongol kings supported their rule, and later, the Qing dynasty. The Dalai Lama has worked to unite Tibetans in exile and represents Tibetan culture and values both in Tibet and globally. He shifted from supporting independence to advocating for Tibetan autonomy within China. Number 18. Tulku Lobsang. Tulku Lobsang Rinpoche is a highly respected Buddhist master, recognized as the 8th reincarnation of the Nyense Lama at the age of 13. Born in 1976 in northeastern Tibet, he grew up in a farmer family in the Himalayas, where several reincarnated lamas had been born. Even as a child, he showed a unique spirit, once attempting to fly off his house with an umbrella. At age 6, he entered Soa Monastery and later moved to the Nangjigban Monastery for more profound spiritual education under the guidance of his uncle. Rinpoche's teachings are based on ancient tantric wisdom, the foundation of Tibetan Buddhism, medicine, and astrology.
If y'all notice with a lot of these stories, it's always a relative that is able them to fulfill their dreams or carry out their plans for their life or give them access. It's always that. That's why I often believe, man, you are a product of your environment. And for some, it's this. For others, it's other situations, and good or bad, but you are a product of that, man. This constantly shows that.
With his warm-hearted, humorous, and compassionate style, he shares this deep knowledge around the world, traveling through Europe, America, and Asia. His goal is to reduce suffering by making these ancient teachings accessible and practical for modern life. Tulku Lobsang Rinpoche's straightforward approach, wisdom, and kindness have made him a beloved teacher and a powerful bridge between ancient wisdom and the present day. Number 19. Mathieu Ricard. Mathieu Ricard is a Nepalese-French Buddhist monk, writer, and photographer who lives in a monastery in Nepal. Born in France in 1946, he grew up in an intellectual family. His father was a famous philosopher, and his mother was a painter and Buddhist nun. Ricard earned a PhD in molecular genetics from the Pasteur Institute in 1972, working under Nobel Prize winner François Jacot. However, he left behind his promising scientific career to dedicate his life entirely to Tibetan Buddhism. Living in the Himalayas, Ricard is known for his humanitarian work and co-founded Karuna Shechen, a non-profit that helps communities in the East. He's also been the French interpreter for the 14th Dalai Lama since 1989. A member of the Mind and Life Institute, Ricard continues to teach and share his wisdom through talks, photography, and his writings. His life is dedicated to spreading compassion and making the world a better place. Number 20. Trulik Rinpoche. Trulik Rinpoche, born in 1924 in central Tibet, was a highly respected Buddhist master and teacher. Coming from a family with deep Dharma roots, his birth was marked by many unique signs. Throughout his life, he studied with over 50 masters from all significant Tibetan Buddhist traditions, learning teachings from sutras, tantras, and other important texts. He became a pivotal teacher to the 14th Dalai Lama and many younger Nyingma Lamas like Sogyal Rinpoche. Trulik Rinpoche founded Thubten Choling Monastery in Nepal and became the head of the Nyingma school in 2010. A documentary called Destroyer of Illusion, narrated by Richard Gere, tells his story. After his passing in 2011, he was succeeded by Taklung Setrul Rinpoche. In 2013, Trulik Rinpoche's reincarnation, Ngawang Tenzin Lodro Rabsel, was born and recognized in 2015. His legacy continues to inspire many followers across the world. Number 21. Thich Nha Trang. Thich Nha Trang was a Vietnamese Buddhist monk, peace activist, and teacher, often called the father of mindfulness. Born in 1926, he became interested in Buddhism after a school trip where he felt a deep peace. At 16, he became a monk. He later founded the Plum Village tradition and promoted engaged Buddhism, which focuses on applying Buddhist teachings to everyday life and social issues. In the 1960s, he spoke out against the Vietnam War, which led to his exile. Martin Luther King Jr. even nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize. Thich Nha Trang established many monasteries worldwide and taught mindfulness as a way to cultivate inner peace and resolve conflicts. After 39 years of exile, he returned to Vietnam in 2005 and spent his final years in his homeland, passing away.
Do you think if he wasn't exiled, maybe he would have been able to do his teachings and a lot of these other ones and spread it worldwide? Do you think we'd have the anxiety level rate that we have today? Like with so many people dealing with so many issues and levels of anxiety that it's often just unbearable for people, and it's at an alarming rate. Like, this could help us so much. You know, you may not go to the extremes that some of the monks go to, but just a piece of that, what that could do with a lot of our mental status. Like, I just thought of that, but it probably could help us out a ton.
Away in 2022 at the age of 95. His teachings continue to inspire people globally. Number 22. Ajan Brah. Ajan Brah, born Peter Betts on August 7, 1951, in London, is a well-known Buddhist monk and teacher. He studied theoretical physics at Cambridge University before deciding to pursue a monastic life. At 23, he traveled to Thailand to train with the revered monk Ajahn Chah, becoming a monk himself in 1974. Ajan Brah is now the abbot of Bodhinyana Monastery in Australia and guides many in meditation and Buddhist practice. He has written popular books like Opening the Door of Your Heart and Don't Worry, Be Grumpy. His teachings attract thousands of followers worldwide, both in person and online, where he shares his wisdom and insights on living a peaceful, fulfilling life. Number 23. Buddha Boy Ram Bahadur Bomjon. Ram Bahadur Bomjon, also known as Paudin Dorje, is a monk from Ratanapuri, Nepal. Born in 1989 or 1990, he became famous for his intense meditation practices. In 2005, at just 15 years old, Bomjon left home after a dream, sitting under a pipal tree to meditate. He was reported to have remained motionless for up to 10 months, with thousands visiting to see him. Some people believe he might be a reincarnation of Gautama Buddha, but Bomjon himself says he's not at Buddha's level, only at a Rinpoche level. Buddhist scholars are skeptical about his claims of meditating without food or water for months. On March 11, 2006, Bomjon went missing but was later seen in August 2007, preaching in the Halori jungle about 100 miles from Kathmandu. Despite the attention, both Bomjon and Buddhist leaders clarify he is not considered the Buddha.